Great.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. This is another Zero event. Again, this long-running series now of explorations of multi-user immersive platforms for the XR crowd. Today, we're being visited by the platform Garou. And so we have the founder, Gaspard, and Leonardo from Garou, and they're going to be talking to us about, of course, the platform. They're going to be presenting it. They're going to be taking kind of questions throughout it, but we're going to have a dedicated Q&A session after that. We'll be joined, hopefully, by one of the creators who is actively working with the platform right now. So this platform, as I described in other messages, recently was one of the winners of Verizon's Built on 5G challenge. And so that's kind of, I think, something a lot of us are particularly interested in, is how 5G can be utilized today, this new emerging high-speed internet connectivity, and what that means for people working with VR. So many of our community has enjoyed ConXR and VR Ham recently, and so we know the 17 gig downloads, the 60 gig downloads, DLCs for the content. And wouldn't it be great if everybody had 5G and that was a whole lot easier? So please, without further ado, Gaspard and Leonardo, would you mind introducing yourselves and Garou? And one last thing for the audience, at the bottom of your screen there is a question button, and that's where you can pose questions. You can ask questions and you can vote up questions. And I'll be checking that throughout the conversation. Where possible, where appropriate, I'll be asking questions live. And then, like I said, at the end, we'll have some dedicated time for questions. So, gentlemen, please go ahead, introduce yourselves and your platform.
Great. Thank you so much, Michael, for having us. We're really excited to present at Zero event today. So my name is Gaspard Giroud. I'm the founder of Garou. I would be cautious to call it a platform just yet. We are building a platform and we're just entering that phase. So I think we should claim that it is a platform when we have enough adoption. It's not the case. We're running a beta program now to take on creators. And if that is successful, then we will be a platform. I'll let Leo do a brief introduction, and then I can start talking about what we're building.
All right. Hi, everybody. First of all, thank you, Michael, for having us. We really appreciate the opportunity. We're really excited about it. My name's Leo. I work in partnerships here at Garou. So we're working a little bit on the business development side with some of our corporate clients. Really excited to hopefully meet most of you in the chat right now. Later, once we do the demo for Garou, please feel free throughout the presentation and maybe after for the Q&A to ask lots of questions. We're really curious to hear all of your feedback to what we're building, and we're excited. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Leo. The fact that for those of you guys who had a chance to download it and be ready to step in it, there's really nothing like experiencing it. We all know that in the spatial computing world, there's nothing that compares to stepping in. So we really invite all of you guys to meet in Garou later. Leo and our team will be there, and thrilled to have you there. All right, so if that works for all of you guys, I will start, and I will basically tell you what got us to where we are now, and then we will talk about the implementation of 5G and what it matters in what we're doing and a lot of us are doing in this community, in this industry, as well as talk about the beta program that we have launched, and we'll invite Maria from Nuts to talk about her experience from her side, right? All right, so let me share my screen. There we go. Hold a second, that computer.
Yeah, and so while you're loading up your screen, I guess a lot of us are really interested as well to hear just kind of how you got started in the very beginning. Did you have a background with spatial computing prior to working on Garou?
So I think it's actually important to talk about the history of it. Prior to starting Garou, I had an agency that was working on architecture visualization for real estate developers in New York City, but also a little bit around the world. So we had a very strong team of CG artists and the culture of building spaces that were not built yet or representing spaces. And so it was very natural for us to explore virtual reality so we could better service our clients. Mostly at the time was for, in real estate. My background was in the VFX industry. I worked, probably 10 to 15 years in the VFX industry. That includes the years that I spent with my own agency that was doing all these visualizations. So we did, film for like the World Trade Centers where we were compositing the towers before they were built. So that was in 2011. Way before the towers were built, we shot from a helicopter a film in which we integrated the towers. So we really had that culture of representing unbuilt architecture, right? And so I'll talk about Garou today, which is a virtual reality publishing platform built on the Unreal Engine. And we're going to see why we picked the Unreal Engine, right? So can you confirm that you guys see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, great. All right. So one of the frustration or the problem we try to solve with Garou is that we believe there is amazing content that is built in virtual reality by studios and creators and even enterprises that doesn't get to be seen. Very often you would see it at a trade show, or you would see it if you visit the studio, if you go to the creator's office and they put the headset on you and you see an experience that is sometimes absolutely beautiful, but it's also isolating because you go there by yourself. And people have a hard time sharing it because if they want to publish it, they're going to put it on Steam and it's buried in a world of like indie games. So that was the problem number one. The problem number two is that we think that the platform that are multi-user or like social platform that exists today generally have somewhat of low visual standards, or they are very gaming looking, or for ad space in particular, it's a little bit of a zoo, which makes it great. But at the same time, we don't believe these are great platform for products or brands to publish their product, right? So when we envisioned Garou, we really were attached to like very high visual fidelity. So those platforms were not a very good fit, and we don't think they're a good fit for brands. So what have we built? We have built an open and high fidelity and multi-user platform. Again, I want to be cautious in the way we use platform. Right now, it's an app. The goal is to turn it into a platform over the next year or two. It's open because we built it in a way so that content from third-party can be published in it, right? It's high fidelity because we care a lot about projects that are complete and also that are at least our visual standards that we're going to see today. Finally, it's multi-user. We built our proprietary multi-user so that what we offer to our community is a template that has the multi-user in it. Garou is built again on the Unreal Engine. It's the reason we picked it is for very, very high visual standards, but also it's a platform that can grow and scale. Fortnite obviously became a cultural phenomenon, and it shows how big it could get. We built Garou so it's scalable. We're making it cross-platform. Right now, it's mostly in the headset, but we're progressively making it more accessible on other devices. And finally, we started a partnership with Verizon 5G Labs. So ultimately, you can access Garou through the 5G network, right? So this image is a shot taken inside the Tesla dealership that we have in Garou, and it shows the visual quality. This is not photoshopped, right? It did not receive post-production. So when you step in Garou, this is how your experience will be. on the right, you see a Polaroid photo that was shot with the in-app camera. And you see that the doors are open because when you touch the handles, just like on a real Tesla, the door will automatically open. The visual quality is also great inside. If you put your head inside the car, you can see the grain of the leather. And I invite you to do it today. This new frame shows a pilot that we did with Macy's, the American department store. They have this sort of like world-renowned Macy's parade that you see in feature films often. We created sort of like a digital twin of it. And the idea behind it is that it would make it accessible for people who are not in New York, but also allow people to create content that look like it was from there, right? We hope that we will reach visual quality, and I think we're getting close, as you can see. That makes it so that on your mobile phone, at least, you might get confused between the real event and the digital twin of the event. We worked on the future Penn Station in New York. The state of New York, with private partners, is building an entire new train station. It's a $2 billion project. It's an entire block of New York City. And when we started working on it, we looked at archived photograph of the previous Penn Station, a Penn Station that was demolished in '63. We sort of fell in love with it because it was like a cathedral of glass and metal, and we rebuilt it based on plans and archived photograph. So you can see that in Garou. Altogether, we could go there today and take a tour. We put a DeLorean car because that building cannot be visited otherwise. You have to fly, teleport yourself into the past. And what's interesting is that we have that building which has been demolished, and we also have a future building that is under construction. Both of them do not exist. Both of them are accessible today in Garou. This project is interesting. Again, we're very attached to design in general. So we built Calatrava's project at the World Trade Center next to the 9/11 Memorial. You can visit that today in Garou. We had an event. Epic Games invited us to present Garou in London, and we had an event here with Gabriel Calatrava, AECOM, the company that built the Oculus, really a historic project, a $4 billion project, an absolute beauty for that scale. Really fantastic. So I invite you to go there. We also have the Apple Store that is open inside the Oculus, the World Trade Center. So this is also a little bit part of our DNA. This comes straight from our real estate and architecture background. This is one of the first projects we created in Garou. Again, this is the visual quality that you will experience when you step in it. Funny enough, Leo, who's on the panel today, you can see him on the balcony on the left on the Polaroid photo. I believe I took that photo, or maybe somebody else. I believe that was me. I thought it was very cute to see Leo on the balcony there. And you're invited, all of you guys, to take Polaroid photos. They will be saved on your computer, and you can find the folder where these photos are saved.
Gaspard, could I jump in real quick? So we did have an audience question, which was related to, I think, the apartment, the New York apartment. So Martin has a key, received a key earlier, and so has tried Garou. And he really liked, he said, the helicopter flights, I guess, which are in there. But he wanted to know and I'm trying to understand the question. So Martin, you maybe can write in the chat to clarify more. The view of New York, the fidelity of the image of New York, I guess the skybox, the static images, perhaps doesn't quite match up with the interior, the high fidelity of the room. So just because we're looking at one of these flats now, so I wanted to ask you real quick, how have you guys kind of approached that? Because whenever you have something that's really high fidelity, that's always been kind of this issue with anything in VR, is that you set up an expectation, and then in another place where it's just not really feasible to do that, people are maybe more attentive to it. So how have you guys approached it? Because you're obviously going for ultra high fidelity, but that just demands then maybe more fidelity in less important, elements of that scene.
Sure, absolutely. So I like that. I like that he is critical. That is great, because we really attach to these visual standards. So to explain how it was built from a technical standpoint, the apartment is all CGI, but the view is a 360 image from a drone. Most of the time, and we could appraise that, Martin, we might be able to go back to that original drone shot and see if we have higher quality. But when you step onto the balcony, if you look out of the window, that is a sphere. It works for most people in the sense that because there is no parallax, right? When you move your body, you can't really tell that is actually not 3D. It probably could be higher res. It could be higher res.
I guess I should clarify that I misunderstood Martin's question. So he didn't have an issue with the quality of the resolution, but he, I guess, was asking why in the helicopter it's a video, where here it's not a video. So he was wanting to see more life and activity in the city. So
yes, no, that's a very good point, right? So that's great. Again, that's like that's quite picky. I love it. Yes, it is. I think it's more like a sake of file size, because in the helicopters, these are probably up to 1 minute flights. I think they're like less than 90 seconds, right? And they loop. We technically could do that from the apartment, but we haven't done it. I think it would be more complicated because you would need a perfectly stable film from up there. The image was captured before the building was built, so the drone could fly. So I don't even know if technically we could put a drone that has a stable enough image for 90 seconds. But that would be a great point. And I agree, it's great. It would be great, like if you look down and you see the cars running, and it is true that it's not the case. It's a static image.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to jump in while we were on the room itself here in the image.
Yeah, no, this is great. I really would love this presentation to be interactive. I think if the audience has questions along the way, I think it's really the best way, because I don't know what you're most interested in, and maybe sometime I might bore you talking too much about a topic that you already know. But something that is interesting, what that Martin brought up, is the helicopter flights. So to give you a sense how we did it from a technical standpoint, because I know our audience is very technical, it was pretty fun because we got in a helicopter, we dropped a 360 camera below the helicopter, tried to make it as stable as possible. And we did that in New York for 5 flights: Statue of Liberty, World Trade Center, Williamsburg Bridge, Central Park, and the Empire State Building. These 5 flights, we had to try to get as stable as possible of the footage. Then we brought it back to the office. We had to erase the helicopter and the camera equipment, right? Because now we have this like massive real helicopter that's over blue sky. We shot on a perfectly blue sky day, so we could take out the helicopter. If it was a cloudy day, it would have been very, very hard. It was a perfectly blue sky. And then in post-production, we erased the helicopter, we stabilized the footage, and then we put our CGI helicopter in it. And it's a lot of fun. It's very loud. We need to make it so that you can turn off the helicopter sound, but we can meet in the helicopter today. It's a lot of fun to go together, to have passengers. What we may want to add, I see that Martin, has a great attention to detail. A question I have for you is that should we have a CGI pilot? Because the helicopter doesn't have a pilot.
Oh, well, I guess if it's the future, I guess helicopters will fly themselves. Oh, but I guess. Yeah, Martin noticed it. So, yeah, but that's a good question, because how would you? I mean, but that's going back to this question of, if you have this high fidelity, you establish this very believable environment. The moment you have something that is incongruent with that expectation that you created, it draws attention to it. But it's not a really good use, perhaps, of resources to create a non-interactive pilot that looks as good as the rest of that helicopter does. So, it's just,
right.
At some point, it's about resource allocation.
Yes, absolutely, and that is very true. What we have for those who like the helicopter, I happen to be somebody who loves helicopter. We put on Steam very early on a project called Heli, and you stand on the rooftop, and the helicopter comes and land on the helipad, and it has a pilot, and the pilot has a helmet and a visor, so he's static, but it's not bad, right? Because if you saw his face, you'd be like, well, it's a very motionless face. But because of the gear, it's not bad. And also, you're not in a helicopter. You're like looking from the outside. You can get next to him. Yeah, we might put that pilot back into the Garou app. But when you go to the helipad in that app, Heli, we might bring it back into the Garou more like the platform. It's really impressive to see it land, set down, and also can take off. Yeah, it's great. So
yeah, I think I'm sorry, you didn't mean to break the flow of the presentation.
No, I think that makes the presentation much better. I think we should encourage the audience to interrupt at any time, and even let me know if you want me to move faster. All right, so this is that's the new paint station. Like I said, what's interesting about it is that it is not open yet, and the reason we built it and we convinced the developer to have a VR project is that it would allow potential tenants, because there is office space in that project. If you see through the glass domes, you see the 2 or 3 floors above it. These are like office space that we built in Garou, and basically that was a tool for the brokers to use to take the possible tenants to visit these floors. On the left side, I don't know who took that photos, but you see Verizon, our partner, and you see also NVIDIA visiting the future Penn Station. Go ahead.
And how many concurrent users could be in Penn Station, for example?
So that's a question that I never got a straight answer from our developers. It varies. I think it's safe to say that they're saying generally 100, but also said that we can scale the amount of people just by scaling the numbers of servers. There is also another option, which is to clone the space, right? Which is a very interesting philosophical question, right? Because you can have 2 different events inside the future Penn Station. You could have a Daft Punk concert, and while you can have a cocktail party, and that happened at the same time. So it's a weird thing, but we could clone basically infinitely all the digital twins we have in Garou.
But so 100 is an eye-catching number, or an ear-catching number, I guess, because that would be. There's another platform that I recently heard about. I haven't tried it. That also says it can go up to about 100, but it has very low fidelity avatars. Could you maybe describe a little bit about your avatars? We can kind of see them here. I mean, maybe you're going to get to them in the presentation, but when your developer says 100, that's like I said, that's quite a high number of concurrent VR users.
Right.
Could you say maybe what's the largest number you have seen yourself?
Yes, that's a much more relevant numbers. I think we might have been 20 or 25. It'll be great to do a stress test today if the audience is game to do it. Look, we never tried 100. That's what I've been told, but never tested. So to be more technical, if anyone in the audience wants to is curious and wants to be to have this answered, this question answered in a more informed way, we can put you in touch with our dev team. I don't know how many people are intending to go into Garou during this event, but yeah, it'd be great to see to test it. But on top of it, I mean, the answer from our dev team is 100% per map. So in Garou, that has more like 20, 25 spaces, that would be more people.
Yeah, but then in that case, each space is a separate instance or something.
That's
so
right.
It would be running on a separate. Yeah.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the broken bridge, right? We wanted to show the how obviously virtual reality can benefit the tourism community. I think that what's important, for instance, that we have the Guggenheim Museum in New York, built in Garou, a digital twin. It's really a beauty. The Guggenheim is closed, has been closed since March, maybe February. And so it's interesting that you can access it in Garou and not in real life. So obviously, it has it has real benefits. You can see also the Polaroid on the left. I don't know who was there, but a couple of guys were hanging out on the middle of the bridge. You can go from about the middle of the bridge to the pillar on the broken side. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about sort of like the platform model that we envision, right?
And so, actually, right before you, sorry, because I didn't realize my mic was muted. So we had a question, and because we were looking at these two avatars here, for like the Guggenheim, for example, you have these people who are inside it. What can they do with each other? What type of social interactions are facilitated by Garou, or are you planning to facilitate as you develop it further?
Sure, absolutely. So we have on our roadmap a long list of what we call Garou features. And ultimately, the way we envision the project is Garou is really about creating this feature and this UI because we're engaging with creators and we want to give them as many tools as possible to play and also communicate from inside Garou. So for instance, the Polaroid camera is one of them, right? This little Polaroid that you see is something you can pull up from the menu. You have a physical camera that floats in front of you. You grab it, you take a photo pulls out, you can share it with friends, and you can send it to your phone. But let's talk of what's already existing, and it's a very good question. We have a annotation tool, right? It is pretty. It's like a really sort of like simple version of a what is the Google Sketch? I don't know when the name is. Excuse me. Annotation tool. You can draw in 3D basically with different sizes and different colors. You have the Polaroid camera. You have a feature that is called Find My Friend, because now Garou is not very, very large, but you can get lost. And sometimes if we don't get into the app at the same time, you may be looking for other people. And so if Michael was, let's say, on top of the rock that we have in Garou, I'll be able to like step in Garou, look at the Find My Friend, and then I can see that he's there, and also click on that tool so that it takes me right where he is. We're re-implementing it, a web browser, so that you can pull up, web content in it. We have a photo library. So when you take photos, they are saved in a window that you can open. That is also saved. That save the photos on your computer. We have built. It's still at prototype level, but we have a companion app. So on your mobile phone, you can look at the photos that you took in VR, but you can also find your friend. Meaning that even if you're far away from VR, completely disconnected from you're far from a headset, you're still able to monitor the traffic of people who are in it. What am I missing, Leo?
So can I ask a little bit more about that last part? Was really quite interesting. So and now that's if you're a creator. So let's say you created the content, you're able to kind of track current attendance without having to be in the platform itself. Okay.
Yes, we love the idea. And also we love the idea that people who are in VR, like this photo shot on a broken bridge, you're able to send it to your friends on social media, but also track, yes. Like if we had Find My Friend on our phone, I actually don't have it now, but we will be able to know who these two people are.
Mm-hmm. And one other thing, so you can open the web browser to view content. So it can now, that's for yourself, or you can show it to other people? It's like a share screen.
Yeah, so it's something that not only you can share, so when you put it up, everybody sees it, it's networked. What also happens is that window, you can grab it like an object, it's a three-dimensional object, and you can pass it to each other and you can scale it. And it's quite cool to scale it. Just like the Polaroid photos, they come at like, maybe 4 inches by 4 inches, but you can grab them, you can scale them. And sometimes it's fun because you can scale them at like billboard size. You can make them like a massive billboard in the space. And you can do that with a web browser as well.
And so so this is an issue. So what's come up a lot in some of our other platform explorations, that people want to see more integration with existing web apps or mobile apps. They want to have that integration into a particular platform. Yeah. If I take a photo of me or my friends in the platform and I have a web browser access, could I directly load that photo from my in-app or in-platform library? Could I load that to Facebook or Instagram or something?
Yeah, so that's this is something we are so passionate about, is create more and more porosity between the outside world and the world. We always wanted to make it publish it seamlessly. At this very moment, you cannot publish it directly on Facebook, but you can. It's basically saved on your phone. So once you are back on your cell phone, you can take that photo and publish it on Facebook. But it would be using basically the same thing that when you do it from your photo library on your phone. So it's not direct, but we're working on it.
Okay. And we have a question, actually, again, very relevant Guggenheim. As I was mentioning before, we have quite an artistic community represented here. So do you have the ability, creators can upload content, but is that something that would be available to anyone who comes on the platform? Would you be able to upload content? And if so, if you were in the Guggenheim, would you be able to upload content and place it in the virtual Guggenheim, for example?
Yes, so that brings, this is a very interesting question. You're really touching on I think, this is, I think, for our community, what is so exciting about what we're doing is that it brings up all these like crazy, literally philosophical question, because even in the current digital twin of the Guggenheim that we have, technically you could have, put your family photos and do an exhibition of it. Put up your Instagram account and just lay out your photos and invite everybody to come sit. Or you can put your own artwork and take photos and publish them, and they will look like they're actually from the real Guggenheim. That is how crazy it is. And regardless if that Garou, is one of the first ones to do that, ultimately you will be able to do that. So it's really sort of like a little bit mind-boggling to imagine that almost everybody could have their own Guggenheim. Everybody could have their own digital twin and play with it. And so I think I brought it up to the Guggenheim because we're talking on a regular basis. And I said, you should absolutely look into this technology, because this is really a threat for art institution, that digital twins of any space basically are going to start multiplying, and people are going to have, I think it's going to be hard to control, right? How can you control how people create and use digital twins of their spaces?
I mean, that's a discussion we have a lot here in Istanbul. And I know that it's been discussed, intellectual property is a hot topic, even though I think the current legislation is pretty clear. VR itself is not fundamentally different than other digital depictions, but it's a question, of course, of how much people are really monitoring what is being done in these platforms. Right. But it is something that gets discussed. And on your point, if I can share my own my own biased opinion, is that I find museums and these cultural institutions often great customers, but also very much threats themselves to this idea of VR as a tool, as a mechanism for greater accessibility. because that greater accessibility, as you described to your point, is the opposite of their, location monopoly. The geographic limitations that they hold. So it is very philosophical, whether you want to have more access or you want to have more control over context and curation and other things. So yeah, certainly it's a right topic. And the more you get to high fidelity visualizations like your platform is presenting, the more critical perhaps, or the more tangible that concern and the need to discuss it becomes.
I think you're absolutely right. I think that IP as well as privacy are very obviously very, very hot question for the spatial computing world.
On the space of privacy, again, about avatars, are your avatars, and again, if you're going to show it later in the presentation, don't feel the need to answer right now, but the question is about like fidelity and how much your avatars can be like yourself, or some platforms will create photo textured versions of yourself, and some are much more abstracted. How do you guys approach it?
So we have very crude avatars. Our world are very high visual fidelity standards by VR standards, but our avatars are quite crude. It's a torso right now, as you can see, still the Unreal hands. We're changing that now. They're gonna have they might be full body as early as the next version, but there's no lip syncing. The head is a little bit cartoony. The avatars are like really behind compared to the rest of the platform. I wouldn't say it's intentional, but part of it is that we're also monitoring what other people are doing, because there are people, if you're able to capture yourself with a phone and export a mesh that looks like you, in the near future, there might not be a very big need for us to try to solve a problem other people are much better at solving.
Mm-hmm.
We will see the avatars, but you will see there's no lips. But interestingly enough, what's strange is that you can still recognize body language in our team. Like sometimes I can capture who's who just because of this somewhat very simplified version of themselves.
Mm-hmm. And so just to add on to the avatars, and also further address one of the questions in the chat about importing 3D assets. So in the current version of Garou, which we will try later, you'll see exactly what these avatars look like, and we have a few different options. Who are many of the partners and clients we've worked with, and so something like more advanced avatars and importing the 3D assets we recognize are very valuable, and they're on the roadmap, and hopefully they will come this year, definitely for the 3D assets. It's more just of a choice. Okay, what is most necessary at the current moment, because we also need to look from a business perspective. If I can actually clarify some of the things mentioned in this presentation, there's two quick things. One is, so as Gaspard mentioned, we're currently building this platform, but we also offer custom agency services to enterprise and corporate clients. For example, as we saw with the new and old Penn Station, which they're also using the platform services, but it's something we built. We built for them, so that also is a concern, and also helps define and gives us a lot of feedback on what's important to different stakeholders in the space. That's one thing. The second thing, so we can see the picture right now. So it's an in-game rendering of the Brooklyn Bridge. Because of screen share, I think the quality is a little bit lower, but I would say it's still pretty good considering it was taken directly from VR. And that's one of the unique benefits we think that Garou provides to everybody, and especially its creators, is that when you create and publish this high fidelity content, when we're still in a world where not everybody has VR headsets, much of the challenge can actually be getting people into the platform, especially people less savvy, which is where this 2D content really comes in handy.
Yeah, thank you for that. And so kind of on that point about creation, I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to talk with one of the creators. Could you describe generally who's actively creating with the platform and how you work with them? And then if we have one of those persons available to share a little bit about their experience, I think that would be great.
Yes, that would be great. How much time do we have, Michael, just to check on?
Yeah, we started a little bit late, but we've also been taking questions during it. So I don't think we have to stick to a pure 15-minute Q&A session. I think maybe we can have a good, I think if we can work with another 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then transition into, the questions we didn't get to and then transfer on.
Sure. That's great. So I'm gonna go a little quicker on the rest of the presentation. It will answer the question you just had.
And I also believe Maria, one of our creators from Nuts, is viewing. So at that point, you can also put her up to speak.
Yeah.
I will go fast because I really want to give Maria some time to talk. To talk. So. All right, so to answer your question, we're going to go straight to that phase. To publish in Garou, basically what you do is you download the Garou editor. So very likely you're somebody who's already working in virtual reality in Unreal. Very likely you're working on projects that are high visual fidelity. And pretty much all the time, you don't have multi-user for your expenses, right? So you download this Garou editor, in Unreal, you import your world, everything you have created, and then you can test it, and then you create your build and you publish on Garou. So I wouldn't say it's very easy, but we're gonna make it easier over time. We have about 7 to 10 studios right now that are working on their own space in Garou. That is very exciting. Right now, Garou supports, high-end PC VR system like, Vive, Rift, the Valve or Vario, and we're going to make it more cross-platform over time. This is for us an important slide. This is how we envision the roadmap for what we're doing, right? For the past 3 to 4 years, we worked on what we call the foundation age because we built the prototype, made sure that everything worked, get the multi-world working, and started implementing third-party content. And then we're entering now what we call the builder's age. The reason we focus mostly on builders and creators now is that we don't think there's going to be mass adoption before 2 to 3 years, before Samsung, Facebook, or Apple creates a really compelling VR headset that is in every home. So this is really what we're going to be focused on and implementing 5G. And finally, the user's age is that if we're lucky enough to succeed, then we think that people from around the world will go into the Tesla store to see the future Cybertruck and possibly do transactions there. All right, so yes, as Michael pointed out, we were very lucky last year. 550 competed for the Built on 5G challenge. We came second and took a $500,000 prize, which helped us implement 5G. We are partners with Epic Game, obviously 5G Labs, NVIDIA. We're working with NVIDIA of implementing Cloud XR so that we can have a Visit Garou with tetherless headset. Oculus as well, we're part of the independent vendor program. These are some of our clients that helped us carry us. I think one thing that is important to know about Garou is that we're self-funded. At all time, we were able to build everything without receiving external funding, which is a little bit baffling when you see how gruesome it can be in this, to survive in this nascent industry. These are some Polaroids of the avatars. You have the NVIDIA delegation visiting the Museum of Natural History. So this is very important. I'm going to let Maria talk about it. This is the first third-party content published in Garou. We found Nuts in Ukraine because they had 4 million views on their loft on YouTube, not even made by themselves. Somebody visited their loft, thought it was beautiful, shot a video in it, and they had a lot of exposure. And we got to see it, and we thought they were amazing. We work with them on a project in France as well. But you're going to be able to visit that space. We have not touched it. We just put it in Garou with their collaboration, and I'll let Maria talk about it.
Okay.
I'm going to skip that because you guys know the landscape better. And that's it. That's it for our presentation. If I have 1 more minute to talk, I will say, why is it important to implement 5G? We all know a lot of what I'm going to say, is something that you guys already know. Spatial computing not only is very heavy data, three-dimensional data, but it renders in real time. So you need very high bandwidth and you need low latency. And as Garou grows and add content in this sort of like game that is becoming bigger and bigger, if we publish 7 studios in the next version, it's probably going to reach like close to 50 gigs in size. It gets really big. So what we're doing with 5G is that we're going to make it so that you download each experience on the fly. You step in the Guggenheim, it downloads the 1 or 2 gigs that represents the Guggenheim on the fly. And that's what we're working on with Verizon currently. So that's pretty much it. If that works for you, Michael, maybe we can invite Maria to talk a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm gonna invite her now to the screen, and I'm glad that you did mention the 5G, because none of those questions actually came up. But originally we were hoping to hear just how maybe 5G, like for Maria, if 5G was important for you, did it add anything to you as a creator, how you approach what you did? But please go ahead and introduce yourself first before we start to pepper you with any questions.
Okay, thank you.
I can answer the 5G question because Maria is probably, as a creator, I think they are less concerned about, 5G right now than the publishing process, but no problem.
Okay.
Yay. Hello, thank you for letting me join your conversation. So, about our project, let me introduce myself. My name is Maria, and I'm a project manager from Nuts. So our Loft project was created like 3 years ago, even a little bit more. And at that time, we were wondering about combining our experience. We have the part of our team we're working on the game projects. They created very high quality game stuff, and our team were working on creating the architectural projects, but it was like still images in architecture, and we always were wondering about creating something where people can be inside and get this experience of real time. And like 3 years ago, the Unreal came with the answer, so VR, and we started creating our project. And it was a really very interesting reaction we get from YouTube. But as Gaspard said, you have a lot of platforms to share your projects, your game projects, and but when it comes to architectural projects, it's like you can show it on YouTube, on your website, but there is no such platform where you can share your experience and share your architectural projects with the people who are interested in the same topics. So we were really, really happy when Gaspard came with this idea of the platform. And I need to say that when you join the platform and you became the creator, like it's not only the spot where you can share your project, but it's also like an environment that push you to create something interesting, because the Garou team, they are very inspiring and they are very welcoming. So they share their ideas, they help to realize the ideas that our team already have. So we are really happy that we became not only like partners, but I hope like friends. And in this environment, we already create really, really beautiful projects, and I hope that in the future time we will creating something more, because the technologies, they don't stop, and I think that in soon future we will be able to create something and to watch it, the creation in real time.
So, Maria, thank you for joining us. So can I ask you a couple of questions just to clarify for the audience? So your project, you're architects, and so you had created this project previously. Were you using Unreal before? Were you using different tools?
Like 3 years ago, when we just created this loft project, it was our first Unreal project. But yeah, since that moment, we created a lot of, even with the Garou team, we were happy to get interesting project. But yeah, the last project was the first one that we created in Unreal. And
what was the process? Did you have to do much conversion for what you had previously when you decided to then upload it to Garou? What type of conversion did you have to do or not have to do? How was that process?
Well, in this topic, I'm not a very good speaker, because I'm not about technique, but more about the organization moment. So probably it will be good to have here our people who more about technique. So yeah, I hope maybe Gaspard will help me and describe a little bit more about the process of publishing the project in Garou platform.
Okay.
Yes. So very briefly, I can say, there is a little bit of an organizational thing about how to organize the assets in Unreal so that the multi-user will work. So I think that Maria and Dimitri had to reorganize a little bit, because the project was built prior to Garou. In the future, we already have guidelines for creators. So if you create a project now, you just know how to organize stuff. But once you have the project organized in that way, it should not be too hard to integrate your project into the Garou template.
Okay. And Maria, could you tell us a bit about how Garou creates value, like for your business? Could you describe how you're using it right now for your business? I know you're showcasing, but because not everyone has VR headsets, how are you approaching strategically?
Yeah, we were talking with Gaspard previously that it would be great. We really believe that VR is our future, but it also will be great to have the version that will work on PC only. So, for example, people will be able just to test and to get the opportunity, to see the environment and to get the idea about moving in VR reality. And also, as I said previously, we published it 3 years ago, this project, we love it very much, and we really, would like to show it again. And we had no spaces where to promote it. Just our guests, our clients were able to see it, but that's it. So I really hope that the platform will give us the possibility to share with the people the environment that we created. And also, the very important moment was the multi-user, because that feature we didn't have. We have thought about creating our multi-user, but Garou team and Gaspard came with it first, and it's really amazing, because when you are in an environment, it's interesting, and you don't have the multi-user, you just alone. It's very interesting, but it's 5 minutes, and then that's it. You're trying to change the colors, you're trying to change the light, you discover, and then it's a little bit you're alone. So it's so good to have the multi-user where you can create some events, and like Gaspard said, the concert of Daft Punk, I would definitely go and visit it. So I hope that our place, our loft, will be also the place where people maybe can gather on some meetings, VR meetings, and I hope they will enjoy it.
Great, thank you. So that brings up a good question. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. I just wanted to go very quickly on over this. So one of the things, if you're a creator, the immediate benefit is that your project becomes multi-user, right? The second, like, two benefits is the exposure in general. And creators like Maria have not yet benefited from it because we have not done the official launch. That probably is going to happen, later that year. But when you're going to start having foot traffic, people that Nuts are bringing into the platform, either all creators will bring this network effect, right? Where you're going to be able to hop on one experience to the next equally, and everybody gets to discover sort of like the best project. Verilloft is one of my favorites in Garou because the level of detail and the quality they have is better than us. And we think that this really is the goal, is that everybody who builds up on the platform is going to create more and more quality. And so I think exposure is important, but also finding commercial partners. We have great partners like Verizon, but also commercial partners that come visit it. And they look at this and they're like, oh, this is what I want. So this is the platform we want to develop, is that big accounts, great companies go visit Garou, and they can find creators that are a good fit for what they want to do.
So go ahead. Sorry, Maria, go ahead.
Yeah, and also I would like to say that I hope that very soon we have like more and more creators on the Garou platform, and it will also be a little bit a challenge, to create the most beautiful environment, and maybe a challenge to who will get the most quantity of the users who were attended to your environment, and it will be also, it will help us to create more and more and more beautiful and more interesting spaces. Yeah, and so it will motivate us, I hope.
Yeah, absolutely. And quickly on that point, also, I see that CD Henry in the audience is asking if we have a photogrammetry project. We are planning on doing that, right? We're already in contact with people who do a fantastic photogrammetry project. But Unity, no. Right now, it's not on the roadmap to have Unity project. I don't even know how we would do it. So right now, it's really an Unreal platform, but photogrammetry is absolutely on the roadmap.
And so I just want to answer the question that Andre put in the Q&A section, and it's very relevant. And it's probably a great point to wrap everything up. It says, is there any other multi-user tools or platforms to publish environments created in Unreal? So I think as Gaspard said well before, the current benefit to creators of publishing on Garou is that it immediately makes your environments multi-user and more accessible. We currently don't know of other platforms which allow you to publish it. There are some other tools like multi-user tools which help you for collaboration, but we don't know of anybody else that's doing what we're doing, taking these high quality environments on Unreal and putting them in a centralized location so we can all network them together.
Yeah, that's Andre brought up a good point. Most platforms are working with Unity, doing more, doing the same thing broadly, but doing it with Unity. And obviously, Unreal is a lot more popular with architects, I would say, than Unity is. And so you just have to know your market. So you guys coming from more of an architectural background, that's part of the value proposition is that you're working with Unreal, and there's not a lot of options. If you don't know of any, I don't think our community knows of any, and we've seen a lot. We don't know of any who is allowing you to upload Unreal directly. It's normally Unity. So one final question I wanted to ask on behalf of a few people I know who had asked me this before. So they're coming from like the gallery backgrounds, and it does seem like Garou is able to do gallery type of exhibitions. But if you're not public yet, with some of your clients, are they able to use these now, or are they just building for this time in which you'll make the platform publicly available? Like, is there private applications available right now, or not yet?
I'm not sure if I understand the question.
If I can answer that. So the answer is yes. So first thing is that not all of the projects we have built for our clients we have published to Garou, and that is for a number of reasons. Whether it's because there's sensitive information in the project, or they want to keep it private. But we're able to make versions of the app, or whichever app we build for them, custom for their needs. So in the example you're saying of the gallery, let's say you want to build a new environment using our technology, or take one of the existing environments we have in Garou, for example, the Guggenheim, and have a gallery there. We have the ability, if you don't want to have it in the main Garou platform, to have a totally separate app where it can be completely custom to your privacy, security, sure, and whatever needs you want to use it for.
Sure. Okay, yeah, because this series of events. I'm sorry, go ahead, Gaspard.
No, very quickly on that. I think we're not there yet. I don't think it'd be very hard, but we're going to have levels of privileges, so that indeed, if you have your private space, you're going to be able to let in whoever you want. So that's we actually we have not implemented it, but we'll get there. Where some of our clients, one of our clients is Pininfarina, very well regarded Italian design firm. Some of their projects they want to allow access only to their clients, at least for the development phase. And so we're going to put that in place. Right now, they're completely separate, as Leo pointed out, but ultimately they're going to be part of Garou, just with access privileges. Also, I want to quickly answer to Martin. Martin, I want to thank you for checking the app, so thoroughly. This is so, it's so great to see people in our community show this much interest. One quick question about the Guggenheim is that I think in the last version that you have, the version that you probably walked in, you have actually 2 installations in the Guggenheim. If you go into the lobby, there's a place where you can click 2 buttons, and there is an actual real Anish Kapoor. I don't know if you're familiar with this artist. He's, I imagine, Indian, but at least lives in England. One of the world-renowned artists, and he had designed many years ago a project for the rotunda of the Guggenheim, which is like a tornado, like a red tornado flying inside the space. We built it. We showed it to his studio. They agreed that we would publish it. So we have a real Anish Kapoor in the Guggenheim. And we also have another one, which is a cool project by a studio called Studio Battistelli that you can turn on and off. And it's like these structures pointing out into the rotunda that you can step in and look at the void below you. So there is actually 2 installations in the current Guggenheim right now.
Okay. Well, I think you've answered all the outstanding questions, and I'd like to thank our audience for what were truly outstanding questions. Now it's time to move on to the actual platform demo. So could you guys kind of walk us through what we need to do for people who have not been in Garou yet? Do we have to register an account? Obviously, everyone has downloaded, hopefully, but what else do we need to do?
So Michael, thankfully you distributed the Google form earlier. And so if you did that, we realized there are some hardware specification requirements, but we had about 20 people respond to that form, and by now you definitely should have been sent a Steam key, which if you follow the directions in the email that was sent to you, it would allow you to put that in Steam and then download Garou. So then you just need to make sure you have Steam VR open, and you open it as normally. And once you put on the headset, you are then able to create an account within Garou. Super simple information, just like username, password, company kind of thing. And then you're going to spawn in the lobby, which is where we will all meet. So to clarify, if you have the Steam key, if you signed up, you just put on the headset. And once you're there, you can make an account in VR.
Okay.
Yes, and making an account allows you to use all the features, such as the Find My Friends tools and save photos, which I think would be cool to check out.
Okay, and we just had Martin, who has already done all of that, was providing some advice in a separate chat, some firsthand experience, suggesting that to those who may not be able to find it in Steam, it's going to be put under games. So Steam has some different tiers of how they categorize. So if you don't see it, you can search for it. But if you aren't comfortable with searching in Steam, it should be listed under games rather than like software utilities or something. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Well,
I did. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No. In very few cases, some people had problem firing up the app from Steam. So if that happens, and it looks like we have a very technical audience, you might have to find the game inside the Steam folders and fire up the app just from the Steam folders. Does it still happen, Leo, that people are struggling with Steam?
So Martin was in there about an hour ago, and we just sent out the Steam key. So there should not be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, if there are any problems, definitely contact info@Garou. But we know people are able to get in there today. Servers are working, so I think pretty soon we can all hop in and explore.
Okay, yeah. And so on that note, I'd like to thank everyone. I'd like to thank Gaspard, Leonardo, Maria. Thank you very much for joining us today and sharing your experience of the platform and of working with it. I know our community appreciates it very much. So yeah, thank you to you. And we're excited to see everyone who can join. We're excited to see you in there. Myself will be joining in a few minutes. So if there are any problems, Leonardo has shared, or no,
Carlos.
Okay. Yeah, Carlos has shared the email. But also, if you're part of the XR crowd, use the WhatsApp as well, and I'll be able to provide additional assistance as well. We may leave this channel up. So actually, really quick, was it going to be possible to do some streaming, video streaming?
So yes, Michael, that's a great question, because this is something we're so thrilled about, is being able to stream from inside the game, right? Stream video. This would be such a great benefit for everybody. That is not, it's on our roadmap. It's a high priority, but it's not implemented yet. Okay.
All right. No problem then. So then for those of you who aren't able to join, we thank you very much for joining this Crowdcast discussion, and look forward to seeing you at another Zero event. For those of you who have your Steam keys and have downloaded and are ready to go, we look forward to meeting up inside, face to face, body to body, virtually. So thank you all.
Great, thank you so much. Michael, this is great, because this is a very knowledgeable audience. So that's one of the best for us, because clearly everybody understands what we're talking about. It's not always the case.
Yeah. All right.
So
have a good weekend, everyone, and we'll see you next time or very soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you a lot.